Dr. Wilma Emma Mosley Clopton is an award-winning video historian and filmmaker who believes that by embracing the latest technologies and innovations in filmmaking, we can better bring to life pivotal moments from history while also highlighting their relevance in the issues of today. Based on this philosophy, Dr. Clopton created Digital Magic, a film-based program with an educational focus on social studies, history, reading, language, and social interaction. Each student learns to apply research to their project while also learning a valuable art and skill, all of which help build confidence and shape long-term goals.
My name is Wilma. I'm doing that because I have a long name, Wilma Emma Mosley Clopton.
Okay, do you prefer doctor?
Well, just so people know I have it, but it's whatever works, it's okay with me.
Where are you from originally?
I am from Jackson. I was born in Vicksburg and lived a little while in Edwards, Mississippi, but have been in Jackson since I was 6 years old. So this is home, Mississippi.
Are you an entrepreneur or a small business owner? Do you have a story to tell? The Works can bring your vision to life. No project is too small. Whether you want a promotional advertisement or a music video, The Works has you covered. Contact us at theworksllcjxn.com to get started.
When the moment appears, you have to be ready to jump in. And so I was sitting next to the then president of the local branch of the NAACP, Gus McCoy, who said that, and he was coming on his 100th anniversary of the NAACP, and he said, "Oh, I wish I had a film for that event." And I thought, click, click, I can do that. And literally, I used to have a public relations marketing firm, so I would make commercials for my clients. And I thought I could translate that into making a documentary. Well, no, you cannot. But nevertheless, I jumped in and made my first documentary in 2009 or maybe somewhere in there. And it was 10 minutes. And they showed it at the Walthall, which had a theater in it. And so if you can believe you can be late for a 10-minute documentary, I was, because I was that nervous. And when I got there, people were still just looking at it over and over and over again. I thought, I may have found something, because Gus gave me the names of the 4 people he wanted in the film, and that's the history of it. That's literally how I started. Just said, I can do that.
Wow, so did you have like multiple cameras, or you just jumped in there head first?
Couple of head first. Did not have cameras, did not have anything. I said, I can do that. And I hired somebody, I asked around who was a good videographer, and I was recommended to Larry Keeler, who is still with me. And he and I started out on that venture. I had archival footage in the film. I think that one was mostly archival footage, and he was editing for me. And I had nothing but an idea.
Oh, wow, that is a Super Bowl undertaking. My goodness.
Yep. I said, I can do that.
Wow, so let's kind of pivot to the film Food Apartheid. I really like how the title of it is Food Apartheid and not, Food Desert. Because, a desert is sort of a natural occurrence in the environment, and poor people not having access to food shouldn't be natural.
Correct.
So you care to go into detail about Food Apartheid?
I can, and I'm really excited about that concept and the conversations that can develop around it. When I started out, I was hired by Dr. Adrian Kidd, for the city of Jackson, and that's why it's focused in Jackson. And they wanted me to do the film on food deserts in and around Jackson. But when I began to do the research into it, I went back to her. I said, Dr. Kidd, I think we have a different kind of film, and I'm going to want to change the title to Food Apartheid. And so I explained to her why, based on the definitions I had seen, what you just stated. Desert is something that is, made by nature, and lack of food is man-made. So therefore, it becomes Food Apartheid. And she did not have a problem with that, and I'm glad that I had such a forward-thinking person with whom to work, because it literally is, when you look at the maps of the plantations, the original plantations that are around, and then you see the redlining map, and then you see the food desert map. They're all the same. They're all the same areas. So I think the film clearly brings that out.
Yeah, Jackson, it's sort of sad how the grocery stores and everything are also spread out, and we have so many dollar stores. And the thing about, there's nothing necessarily wrong with dollar stores, except they don't have any fresh produce. So it kind of conditions the Black community to be like, okay, this is what's acceptable because that's what they have easy access to. Like our public transportation in Jackson is kind of at best. So most people just gonna commute or walk to like what's nearby.
They will, but I look at this. It's easy. They keep saying that we can't have grocery stores in certain areas because they won't make money. But look at all the chain foods. The little fast food places that are in our areas, and if they were not making money, they would not be there. So there is money in those communities. So that means that the excuses that are being given for not providing access are not really founded on reality. If fast food chains can definitely turn a profit, then grocery stores can turn a profit because there is money in that community, especially if it's accessible and people can walk to it. So hopefully food apartheid will get people to start thinking about the reasons we're being given as to why we can't get certain things in our communities.
Yeah, hopefully it kind of shifts the narrative because, just not having access to healthy food leads to a whole plethora of health issues. Yeah, hopefully this film will give people a different perspective on that.
I do hope so, and I like the part where the nurse brought out about the deficiencies and what they cause. So when you think about a child is unable to concentrate in school, and that continues as they go from grade to grade, and they are learning less and less. Feed them. Give access to food, and that will remedy some of the problems that we see on, he's being hyperactive and he can't do this. Well, the film brings out what we usually call low blood, or we all have terms that we accept as being a part of our community, but we don't understand that it has far more reaching implications and impact on us than just saying, oh, he got low blood. Because that means that you have a deficit that needs to be attended to, which causes you not to be able to function at the level you're supposed to. And I can say it by firsthand, finally understanding knowledge. I ended up with a vitamin B deficiency. And I'm telling you, I could not concentrate. I kept trying to force myself to work on my film. I kept trying to just force myself to do anything. And when I finally realized what was going on, I said, no wonder. Now I understand what the impact of that deficiency can cause. So in children, when we see lack of access to food and the deficiencies, we're talking about their inability to perform in school because they're not getting enough food. They're not getting the proper food and the vitamins. So it makes me greatly concerned about that. And that's why it's called food apartheid, lack of access. Man has created lack of access for specific communities.
Yeah, I definitely can resonate with the children not having access to proper nutrition because I've worked with children before. And it is very hard to get them to really focus and concentrate when you know that, hey, this child is coming to school or coming to the facility hungry. They're starving, like they want something to eat. And then, like, I would be put in a weird kind of position where it's like, okay, I can't give you food because I might be held liable if you have some type of allergy or you have some type of reaction to it. It's like, oh my God, like, hey, she gave me food. But it's like, I just hate to see children, starving and hungry. And then even they get fed a meal, sometimes it's not enough.
Correct.
Because that's the only meal they'll get during the day.
And when I'm saddened, but when I think about how we have been able to survive against the odds, that even being denied some of the basic necessities in life, we are still achieving. We are still thriving. And that's scary, you've been treated like a mushroom, kept in the dark and fed you know what. And so, but they're still, we're still thriving. That tells us something about our legacy, about the people who were strong enough to survive the journey and the genes that they passed on to us, that even with insurmountable and unbelievable odds, we are still here and thriving. And every time I hear a success, I admire that person, because the world is not designed for our success. And so it's like, wow. Didn't have enough food. Didn't have a home that people say you should have. 2-parent home. Not enough money in the home. And yet, that person survived and thrived. That's the beauty of, that's what I want to celebrate. I want to look at the issues. I want us to understand what is happening in our lives. And that's why I really do my documentaries. I want us to understand what is happening in our lives so we can take control with that knowledge and change that which we can change.
Let's segue into your filmmaking process, because I'm just really fascinated by that. So now, do you own is it a nonprofit?
It's a nonprofit, yes. The NMHS Unlimited Film Productions is a takeoff of a company my mother founded in the 1940s called the Negro in Mississippi Historical Society. Interestingly enough, when she founded that company, I found the records where we were being investigated by the Sovereignty Commission, because we were teaching us to have respect for ourselves and our history. So in her book, The Negro in Mississippi History, was phenomenal, which she published in 1958, and people are still using that as a resource today. But you asked me about my filmmaking process. So my process is that if a subject gives me chill bumps when I hear about it, then I know it's something I'm supposed to do. I have a different way of creating film. I don't go in, I have done my research, but I don't go in with a set rule. I simply go in, I just want to have a conversation like we're having now. And from that conversation, that's how I begin to develop a film. Most people go the opposite direction. So there have been times when I've been with a potential film person, 3 days, 3 days, just talking, just recording what we're talking about and collecting data from them. And then that turns into something based on the historical research that ties into what they do.
Oh, wow, that is pretty intensive to sort of engage with someone for 3 days. Because
Yes.
like you said, most people, they'll just have a really long sit-down interview, and they'll eventually kind of get tired and be like, oh, let's take a break, but that's what really happens.
Yeah, it is. And most people have, when you go in with a script, like the questions that you want, you are telling your story, you're not telling their story. So when I go in and I ask questions that need clarification as we're talking, but I'm writing, letting them tell their story in their own words, in their own direction. So yes, some only have an hour, but that's all they have to tell. But then 3 days, I've had people, and one of the things I'm remembering is with Gladys Noel Bates, who is the reason that teachers have equitable pay. But we were with her off and on for 2.5 days to make a 6-minute film.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, though, that you spend time with people so they can be more comfortable around you versus, even though, I don't really know you on a personal level, it feels like I've known you for a while. It's based on kind of the tone and how we're just going back and forth in our conversations, because I don't have a whole lot of questions.
But that's how the interview goes. That's how it goes. It's just a conversation. And that's how I set it up. It is, for me, a conversation. It's an exploration into their journey, not my journey.
Is there anything else that you want to add?
Well, I've been asked over and over again, how did I start doing this? We started out talking about, just do it. When an opportunity arises, don't be afraid. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, wow. But just do it. Don't let your fear of success stop you from trying to succeed.
Wow, that is a great takeaway right there. I love how you ended that. What's your social media handle?
So you can find us on www.blackhistoryplus.com or NMHS Unlimited Film Productions or Wilma Clopton, or as I told somebody, just Google the girl, you'll find me.